All right, now for our closing remarks. If my schedule is correct here, we'll be starting with Natty. And you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes, excuse me, 2 minutes.
I do have that concern about efficiency, the distribution of resources. I think some of the changes will move us towards being able to stabilize the dues for a little bit and evaluate that circumstance. I know there are 2 models. One is a per person membership and one is percentage, which can help alleviate some of the concerns about the difference in income levels across the country. I think with regard to the decision between money and community, if people would leave your community for financial reasons, then we need to do some work in that community. And I think it all goes back to really how do we support congregations, because I'm a fan of that relational work. I love the spiritual model that we have for our denomination and the ethical behaviors that we promote through our principles, through the activities that are put out there and what our congregations commit themselves to. And we just need to spread that and really build on it to create the kind of community we want. And it is relational, but it's also tactical and it's responsive. We have to, we have to be in dialogue. And I think we do dialogue really well. I think there are tons of different things we could be doing to respond to any one issue, and so building that consensus and then getting a collective plan around our beliefs is always a challenge, but I think that's really the changes in governance help that, and I do think that the governance model that is best for the board of the new way is not necessarily the best for all congregations. So I do think, but I think part of that governance model will, for the national board, will help the board look at the ways that we promote resources for our congregations and acknowledging that congregations need different models of governance depending on their particular congregation size and resources and culture and circumstance. So really, anything we can do to support our congregations, regardless of the governance model, if it's the best thing out there that we can be working with, then I'm in favor of us making it as much a success for us as possible.
Thank you. Ken?
For me, the governance model is our ability to share strategic visions with the aspirations of what we want to be, in a very difficult economic times. And I know one of Peter's visions is to provide more support to ministry of persons of color. And so, at Goodlow, I can speak to the fact that we've invited 3 guest ministers that are persons of color. So, at the national level, at the local level, trying to make that connection so that we are moving forward at the center. And if we are going to become more multicultural, more multi-generational, agreeing on those ends and then coming up with very specific plans that we can implement at local levels, and then having the leadership to work with other people who may not have the same collaboration skills or leadership skills, and be present with them, and be patient with them, and help them move from where they're comfortable to a little bit more where they have to be a little bit more of who they can become. And so that's where the governance goes back down to the local level for me. And so it's at that very personal level and that leadership level of the very strategic ends.
Thank you, Ken.
First, I want to just thank everyone for coming out on this beautiful Sunday afternoon to hear us. Tell you a quick little story. When I was congregational president of Wilmington, I believe it was in 1993, and I was able to attend a large church conference. in Airlie, Virginia, with our two ministers, Bob Dawson, Bill Zelazny, and church leader Paul Majorano, who's now a Unitarian Universalist minister. 4 of us went to Virginia with other large congregations and were networking. And I was so excited to meet congregational presidents from some of our largest congregations, and they had so much to offer. And we were talking and we said, you know, and this is back again in 1993, and it was like, wow, what's your budget look like? You know, how do you do this? How do you do that? And we had all these resources that, you know, it's the old, why should we reinvent the wheel? And we tried to share that information. We were going to each send a packet of information to Boston, and they were going to copy it and send it back out to the congregations. I think there were about 30 some odd congregations represented. Well, of course, that didn't really happen. I am so excited about the technology that we have now for leadership. Joseph Priestley District, when I was congregational president, we started doing webinars and reaching out to congregational presidents and to other leaders in congregations, and Richard and the staff are doing this terrific job with being able to use the computer to teach our congregational leaders what they need to know to run their congregations. These are the exciting times. We have so many ways that we can do this, and at a national level we're doing it. We can connect in so many different ways now. Person to person will always be the best, but computers are here and we need to be able to use them, and I'm very excited about seeing that change. One of the many things that we're doing at the UUA and even at the district level.
Thank you, Elise. Well, that concludes the formal part of our forum today. Again, I thank everybody for showing up. I especially thank 3 very, very qualified candidates. I'm very impressed with your responses today. You did very, very well. I think a lot of good information was shared. Hopefully everybody can value what these 3 candidates have said today. And I urge you all to stay behind for the next half hour. The candidates will be available to you in an informal setting, and we will have some snacks and something to drink in the back there. So I, again, encourage you all to stick around and enjoy that. Thank you very much.